My mom explained why she's always been partial to my sister. Okay, so I'm 17 male, have a twin sister, and if I'm being honest, our mom has always seemed more partial to her. She's always far quicker to give her hugs and compliments. And she seems a bit more emotionally distant to me. I've noticed it my whole life. And I've tried not to let it bother me, but things finally came to a head recently. I don't really want to get into the inciting incident that started this. Long story short, we've been looking at colleges and I was upset because it seemed like she wanted my sister to stay local more than she wanted me to, and I told her she loved my sister more than me our whole lives and she didn't give a shit about me, and I'm still not sure why. Today she came in my room and asked if we could talk. And she said there's something she felt it was time to tell me. Then she opened up about her childhood, something she's never done, and explained that her father abused her sexually and she had brothers who abused her too. And it instilled a deep disdain towards men in her. She told me she's been meaning to go to therapy and get help. But she told me it breaks her heart that she ever made me feel like she loved me less than my sister, and she's been trying my whole life to get the fuck over it and grow up, and that it breaks her heart that I haven't had the mom I deserve. She started crying and I hugged her and told her I loved her and she was a great mom. And I was lucky to have her. Afterwards I suggested we go out to dinner, us, the two of us. And I could pay. And she said she'd take me up on that under the condition she'd pay. So, we had a really nice dinner and we talked. And I felt I connected with her in a way I hadn't before. I can't really explain it, but I felt like I saw her. And she saw me in a different, but good, way. Overall, gonna be honest, I feel terrible because I feel like I made her trauma all about me. She's a wonderful person and I don't know why I'd accuse her of not loving me like she loves my sister. Alls I know is that I'm gonna be better to her and understand she's doing her best, as we all are. She goes to therapy on Monday afternoons. And I've been going with her to her sessions, and we get dinner afterwards, to be honest. The main reason I started going with her to make sure she goes. And that's been going well. She walked out of one session crying this month, but that's just how it goes sometimes. I've also been seeing eye to eye with my mom in a way I never have. And I've even been getting along better with my sister, who she also ended up telling about her childhood. And my sister has been insanely compassionate towards both me and our mom, and sometimes will intentionally leave my mother and I alone so we can bond. And don't make any mistake, she is trying her damnedest to connect with me. She's been asking me questions about my hobbies and engaging in them with me. And I do believe she's a great mom. I'll close this out with an uplifting story from a few nights ago. So my sister and I watched some TV together and were up late. So, we started heading to bed but heard our mom in her bed crying. We looked at each other and neither of us knew why she was crying, but I know she's been in pain, so I went inside. And without saying anything lied down her bed next to her. She stopped crying and seemed surprised. But then my sister came into the room and also without saying a word got into the bed next us. My mom started crying again, a good cry this time, and gave us both a hug and said I love you guys. And the three of us all went to sleep together. It genuinely made me feel like my sister and I were little kids again. Obviously, we had a lot less space than we did back then, and were packed tightly together, but it was wonderful and reminded me of the old days, when we'd all fall asleep together.